Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and school. And boy, do we have a show for you today.
As always, we have quite the show.
Quite the show.
Yeah, we are continuing our reading of Psalms, and you know what? It's actually kind of having some interesting parallels with our reading of First Enoch.
Oh, yeah, it is. You know, there's some neat poetry in First Enoch.
Like, I normally don't.
Yeah, there was a nice
don't
little
even
poem
have
there.
a conversation with anyone about our readings or what we do on either of the shows. But you know what? I was really encouraged to talk to our studio audience that was here before. When I gave him a ride home, I was like, man, there's too much in here of intrigue for me to not want to talk. It's lore interesting, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
It is an international book of mystery.
All right, so let's do the 100-point show, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. Do it to it.
I got something pulled up for you guys. Right in a second after I click on my 100-point show note. All right. What is the key difference between a Logos Sarx Christology and a Word-Man Christology?
Cherry picking. Did I win?
I mean, that's not that far from the truth.
Well,
Ooh,
given
nice.
that I've never studied Christology, I'm going to say that the Logos-centered one is that it's kind of like Aristotle's God, which is focused on a logical mind that is ultimately representative of the greatest good for the Logos.
No, I'm sorry. That is not correct.
Oh, well, shoot, what is it?
I was closer with cherry picking. What,
I mean,
what do you mean? Let's
yeah.
find out.
So Logos Sarx means word flesh. And then obviously the other one is word man. So the difference there
Word man.
is about the actual definition of man. Because under a Logos Sarx Christology, it's just the Logos and the flesh existing in one. Under a Word-Man Christology, it is the Logos existing within another human being who has his own soul and body. So there is one. So in the Logos Sarx, there is only one being inhabiting the body. But in a Word-Man Christology, there are two beings inhabiting the body.
You know, that
Wow.
just sounds like slavery with more steps.
That sounds like something with no biblical evidence.
It's oh boy, there's
Is that like a
quite
way to
lot.
justify multiple personality
I mean,
disorder?
it's all about Jesus and the incarnation
or
and how divine is he, how human is
okay,
he.
so
thank
like
you.
they take Jesus's statements, like the way to heaven is through me, out of context,
Well,
and they inflate them up to be like this. Instead of being a metaphor, he's literally saying that he is identical with God.
Well, they really
No,
try
he's
to.
the stairway to heaven. You have to walk up Jesus. He's literally
no.
the way to heaven. You guys totally misinterpreted it.
I mean, most of Christology is just misrepresenting things. But and the thing is, because every gospel kind of has a slightly different Christology. So they're just kind of working through all those problems. But I like the history of Christology. I like Christology. It's a fun little subsection of scholarship and theology. But anyways, what is your 100-point show question?
In the hit video game Sonic Forces,
Oh, come on.
who besides Dr. Eggman is the main villain?
It's Dr. Eggman?
No.
Darn,
Is
he
it
does
Dr.
usually do that.
Eggman 2 Electric Boogaloo?
No.
Damn.
Is it Shadow the Hedgehog?
No.
Can I guess more?
No.
Who is it?
The answer is Infinite, a character who was only introduced in that game
Oh, great.
and
Thank you.
who no details are really given about and who really just exists to get beaten in like 2 levels.
Like most movie villains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
All right.
I got a question.
Oh, you do?
Sure,
do.
why not? In the game, Kirby,
Kirby.
yeah.
It's the French one.
crystal shards. What combination results in a refrigerator?
It's the electric and the ice one.
All right.
Oh
Get 'em.
man,
There you go.
I was gonna, I was thinking something with
Herbe.
like something about ice or cold. I was thinking about that. I wasn't sure what the other one was,
Yeah.
but that
It's
makes
okay.
sense.
You didn't play Crystal Shards.
Did not.
I assume not.
But let's get into a couple of announcements.
Yeah. Well, in case our 10 viewers watching now are not aware, we do have a Friday show.
We do have a Friday show, Friday Apocryphal Podcast. It's a lot of fun. So until the end of the month on Teespring, all of our shirts are 20% off if you use the promo code BEHOLD.
We'll type that in at the end again.
Or
All
you
caps.
can just type it in now. It doesn't matter.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah. So there's that. Get yourself something nice. Get a friend something nice. The Council of Constantinople video, I'm working through that. In fact, the Christology stuff I was talking about before was a main point of debate. Sherm Journal also, it's fantastic. Go check it out, shermjournal.org. It's a free historical journal. I mean, it's great.
Yep. Is our ad still running?
I don't know. It was a per issue thing. Yeah.
But it'll be there historically in the first issue, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's hope that they keep going and they're doing well.
Yeah.
So that we can say, oh,
That was us.
we're
in there.
We were one of the first ads in this journal. It's great.
So
I put up the image. There you go.
Were you? Thank you. Were you able to find your work for the esoteric Nazism video?
I can definitely retrieve it.
Okay.
Did you
Good
use the
stuff.
screwdrivers that I gave you? Did they
Yeah,
work?
I just need to put together the little chassis that I have for an external hard drive.
So that you could turn your internal into an external.
Yeah.
It's annoying. I think I have a computer that you could use for that if you wanted.
Well, if my external thing doesn't work out or if it's too annoying, then sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a computer for plugging hard drives into.
Okay.
I think on Christmas Day I will also be doing. I don't know if you guys are going to be there or not, but I will also be doing a kind of afternoon-ish stream with just patrons, a big patron hangout. All patrons are invited. So if you guys want to get on that, become a patron. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about whatever. It doesn't even really matter.
Yeah.
Merry Crimbus. So,
Happy Festivus.
We won't have any scheduled conflicts with the holidays, will we? Probably not. I mean, Friday and Sunday aren't on the 25th or anything,
think so.
right? No.
I have no idea.
know.
Well, we'll have to check.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you need somebody else here for that.
Right.
Well, further announcements.
I think those are all the announcements, actually.
Well, what about our donation drive?
Oh, yes, our donation
Did
drive.
you forget?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. We are, obviously, if we have not, if you haven't heard about this, once we hit $666 in donations, we will be attempting alchemy.
Yes, just like last time when we hit $666 in donations, we attempted to summon a demon.
And that
It didn't
video
work.
is up. And
Well, that's a
got 1,000
spoiler.
views.
Tell them to go see
Yeah,
the video.
go see the video. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe we're possessed, right?
Spooky demons.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no. But
Yeah.
have a look
We-
anyways.
we're-
It's a cool ceremony.
We're at about $470 for that drive.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
that is getting closer.
It is, yes. But let's hop into the readings. What translation do you have?
I have the always excellent King James Version of the Bible.
King James. I have the English Standard Version.
We also have the Hebrew Bible, a translation with commentary by Robert Alter.
Yes, it's quite fantastic. We have the Holy Scriptures according to some Jews and the New King James Version.
We also have
We have a whole bunch
a
of
whole
stuff
bunch
here.
of things.
Yeah.
On the Book of Psalms by Sarna, Psalms Old and New by
Witherington.
Witherington.
Yes.
Nice last name.
Amazing.
We have The Origins of Biblical Monotheism by Mark S. Smith. That's a great book. We will be referencing that today. We also have the Oxford Companion to the Bible and the New Testament survey from the
Now-
New Interpreter's Bible.
Are we referencing Dead Sea Scrolls?
No.
Okay, we're not referencing Dead Sea Scrolls, but if we were, we have that too, and some other books.
Yeah,
that
some
aren't
other books-
relevant to the show.
Yeah, we're going to use the other books on on our other podcast,
Yep.
other show,
And eventually,
Friday Apocryphal Podcast.
this entire table is just going to be covered in stacks of books.
Yes, it will
At some
be-
point, I'm going to get a bookshelf down here, probably put it either behind the cameras or over there, and we'll have to move those there on and off when you need them
Yeah.
because it's going to be, when do you need those?
We have a lot of books down here already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting to a point, and we put some upstairs, and like I said, the bookshelf's not a big investment.
Yeah.
We should just get another one.
Yeah,
Well-
I should get another one because
But for here. You leave them here for the studio so
I
that you can
leave
just
them here
pull
for
off.
some time,
But I mean,
and then I
like,
take them home.
think about it this way. There are books that you will reference that you need here. And you don't know
Sure.
when you need them sometimes.
I might keep some books here.
So, yeah, I'll
Okay.
get the shelf
All
at
right.
some point. That's like a next year thing.
Additionally, once
for
we
January.
start our Quran coverage,
Mhm.
we're
Yeah,
going to
we're
have
getting
a lot of
stuff here.
books.
Yeah. So, anyways, we are doing Psalms 27 through 32 today.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So we can just hop right into that, honestly.
Well, let's do it to it. Psalm 27, a psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell.
Yeah. So it's not really 100% clear what the historical context for this is, but it is another one of those individual laments. And on the last verse you just read there, it is not entirely clear whether the speaker is literally under assault by armed enemies seeking to kill him, or whether the martial imagery is a metaphor for other kinds of hostility. In verse 12, at any rate, the voracious foes attempt to destroy him by underhanded judicial proceedings rather than military means.
Well,
They're
excellent.
just trying to take him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold
Behold!
the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord.
Yeah, I think he's already got that one down.
You know, I don't believe that an action such as singing has been positively identified as a sacrifice.
Well, no, I think he's also going to do sacrifices.
Those are independent.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. Maybe some of these were supposed to go with the sacrifice.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. He has a lot of choice.
Yeah.
Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation.
Yeah, and whenever they say face, it probably most literally means presence.
Yes.
Yeah, even though they're using the word face, it's just presence.
Yes. Or literal looking upon, if not God directly, then some divine representation of God.
Yeah, but they're probably just talking about God
Mm.
himself.
Yeah.
They do that a lot.
Yeah.
When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up.
Okay, so the extravagance of this declaration of trust in God, perhaps the most extreme in the whole Bible, is breathtaking and perhaps even disturbing. In the best of circumstance, the most unconditional, unstinting love and care we experience are from a mother and father. We can imagine, the psalmist says, circumstances in which even that love might fail, but God will be both father and mother to him in the most dire straits.
Wow.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's confusing.
It's either that or this guy had some real issues with his parents.
Yeah, maybe
He loved him a
he
little
was
too hard.
he wasn't following that commandment to honor them.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Maybe this actually is a sin, because it implies that
That
it
they
says
will forsake you.
that they will forsake you.
They might forsake you.
Well, it says when.
Mm-hmm.
Yours says when.
Does yours say if?
Mine says though my father and mother forsook me,
So
the Lord would gather me in.
he means for him specifically, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's also a past tense of the phrase. What does
Yeah,
the
which means
English
they already
Standard
had.
Version use as the translation of the
Let's
line?
see, what verse is that? Okay. For my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in.
Okay, then that's less heretical,
Yeah, that's less heretical.
but still arguably heretical. Teach me thy way, O Lord, which I guess is the way, right?
Yeah, that should be, yeah.
And lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. Okay, it says, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty.
Okay, so this one's kind of weird here. Alter's translation has, for false witnesses rose against me, outrageous deposers. And in the English Standard Version, it is, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they breathe out violence. Let's see if there's a commentary on it.
Isn't there a thing that's
Because there's a pretty wide range of translations here.
Yeah, there's nothing. He's got nothing on it.
Does Eerdmans?
No.
Does Eerdmans have anything on this chat?
It's just that it's an individual lament.
Oh, what about the next one?
Also, it has nothing on that one.
Okay.
That's also an individual lament.
So I can
Great.
take a guess at what they're going for here, meaning that these false witnesses are riling up other people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward in that.
And because their lies are,
Mhm.
everyone's getting, it's fake news.
And
I
Fake
bet this
news.
is Trump's favorite
They say I
song.
do all these bad things. I do none of them.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this probably is his favorite psalm.
You think
If he
that
knew any psalms.
if he knew any songs?
I thought he knew that
He has the best words.
second something. He
Oh, right. What was it? 2
2
Corinthians?
2 Corinthians. Yeah, because it wasn't that first Corinthian. It was those 2
No, it
Corinthians.
wasn't the one
Yeah,
Corinthian. It
those
was
2. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.
that I have. Okay, so if I but trust to see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living. So let's see. Okay. This sentence, at least in the textual form passed down to us, seems to be an ellipsis. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It's just italicized in
Yeah,
King James.
yeah, it's italicized in here too.
Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. The end.
Wait on the Lord. So just, hope for him. It's not like the same way we would say, like, don't hold your breath. But
I mean, I would have interpreted as like waiting, like a waiter,
Ah,
a
okay.
servant.
Yes, of course, because that's all God's about, right? Being a servant instead of the other way around.
No, it says wait on the Lord.
Ah, okay.
Then you're the servant.
You're the
You
servant.
are the
Okay,
servant.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that is the end of Psalm 27. If you
enjoyed the stream so far, share it to your friends, family, neighbors, countrymen. Tell them to lend you their ears. Give it a like, subscribe, and let's continue.
Yeah.
Share. Please.
Also share.
We want more stream viewers and stuff.
That works too.
Yeah,
Great.
share it around. We need more viewers
We always do. All right. Psalm 28 of David. To you, O Lord, I call, my rock, be not deaf to me, lest if you be silent to me, I become like those who go down to the pit. So of course, the rock is supposed to be God.
Yes, do not be deaf, lest you be mute, is what Alter says, and he says. The Hebrew uses a pun, the first verb being teharash and the second teheshesh. Some interpreters actually understand teharash as to be silent. To follow the logic of the punning language, should God turn a deaf ear to the supplicant, he will not answer the supplicant's prayer and hence will be mute. In an associative logic, the supplicant himself will then perish, becoming forever silent, like all the legions of the dead, and hence incapable of imploring God or praising him. In this psalm, he does both.
Because that's all that shul is. It's just being very far away from God.
Yes. So he says in this psalm, he does both because, as elsewhere, the supplication turns into a thanksgiving psalm from verse 6 to the end.
Oh, okay. Hear the voice of my pleas for mercy when I cry to you for help, when I lift up my hands towards your most holy sanctuary. So are they talking
about literally like praying like this, where you lift up your hands and put them together, or
something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
toward your most holy sanctuary. So is that the temple then?
Yeah, the temple.
Okay.
Well, in Judaism, they worship facing towards Jerusalem.
Yeah, they do that in Islam too, but
Yeah.
except towards Mecca.
Yeah.
Do not drag me off with the wicked, with the workers of evil, who speak peace with their neighbors while evil is in their hearts. Speak peace with their neighbors. I'm guessing their neighbors being like pagans.
Okay, so Alter says they're fellows. He says the transition between the end of the first verset and the beginning of the second is marked by the Hebrew by a pun, re'ehem, their fellows, and ra'ah, literally evil. The translation choice of fellows/foulness is an attempt to replicate this effect.
Gotcha. Give to them according to their work and according to the evil of their deeds. Give to them according to the work of their hands. Render them their due reward, because they do not regard the works of the Lord or the work of his hands. He will tear them down and build them up no more. So, like, destroy my enemies, for they are not praising you.
Which verse is that?
Well, it's 5 for me, so it'd be something else for you.
Well,
Actually, it might be 5 for you too.
It's 5 for me too.
Okay.
And it says, "For they understand not the acts of the Lord, and his handiwork they would destroy and not build."
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
Yeah. Blessed be the Lord, for he has heard the voice of my pleas for mercy. The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts, and I am helped. My heart exults, and with my song I give thanks to him.
So verse 6 is like a turning point in the psalm. Alter says this line strongly marks the turning point of the poem. The imploring, "Hear the sound of my pleading," from verse 2 is now an accomplished fact. Now it's a Thanksgiving psalm.
Okay.
And he says for verse 7, the end of verse 7, with my song, I acclaim him. Here the speaker completes the expected gesture of the Thanksgiving psalm, announcing that he is giving thanks to God in song.
Makes sense. The Lord is the strength of his people. He is saving refuge of his anointed. He is the saving refuge of his anointed.
Okay, so this is odd. Alter says the Lord is his people's strength. He says the Masoretic text reads, the Lord is their strength, which is puzzling because there's no obvious antecedent to there. But the Septuagint, the Peshitta, and some manuscripts show his people's strength. In the consonantal Hebrew text, this is a difference of just one letter, an added ayin that an ancient scribe might easily have dropped in copying. This reading then makes a neat parallelism with the second verse, where he says his anointed stronghold of rescue. And he says, for that, the national political perspective of this entire line was not evident earlier in the poem. Either it is an editorially introduced ending drawn from a repertory of stock phrases used for quotas, or the speaker imagines a seamless continuity between divine intervention to aid the individual and the nation.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, save your people and bless your heritage. Be their shepherd and carry them forever. So it's his heritage. That's interesting.
So it's actually, that's a mistranslation.
Ah, okay.
Definitely. Well, unless it's based on a different manuscript. But, I mean, Alter says, rescue your people and bless your estate. Tend them, bear them up for all time.
Yeah, that's pretty damn similar.
Yeah. It did not reference a shepherd directly.
Sure, but tending to them.
Yes. And Alter says, the first of these two verbs is the one used for a shepherd's lurking after his flock.
Gotcha.
It is likely then that the second verb, bear or lift up, the same word used for the hands in prayer in verse 2, also refers to a pastoral context, the act of a shepherd bearing a lamb in his arms.
All right, well, that is the end of Psalm 28. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please drop a like. That would be so appreciated. Or a dislike. It doesn't matter. We appreciate all of it.
It can be a like, a dislike. It can be pro, against.
A comment. It doesn't matter.
Comment.
Engagement is good.
Can they comment while it's doing this?
Well, they can comment in the live chat.
Oh, they can talk in the live chat.
Yeah, talk in the live chat.
Talk in the live chat. Shoot the shit. Whatever you want to do.
Anyways, let's hop into the next psalm.
Yep. Psalm 29. These aren't very long today.
No, they're not.
Okay, a Psalm of David.
Of course it is.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot to talk about for Psalm 29.
Okay.
Oh, no.
A lot. So go ahead. You can continue reading.
All right. Well, if you want to comment on something, I'll pause a little bit after each verse.
Okay, sure.
Give unto the Lord, O ye mighty. Give unto the Lord glory and strength.
So the thing about how I love how the King James translates this. It says mighty, right?
O ye mighty.
Yeah. The actual Hebrew term there is Ben Elohim, sons of gods.
Sons of gods.
Yeah, it's translated as heavenly beings, which would make sense in the English Standard Version, but it does in fact say sons of gods. It's all plural.
You know, that's a that might have a little parallelism to that bit in First Enoch.
Yeah.
Where they talk about those angels who their duty is like, you know, singing praise unto God, basically.
Sure, it's not quite that though. I mean, so many gods in the ancient Near East had councils.
Mm-hmm.
So Baal had a council, El had a council, and each of their councils had a variety of names that they went by. And this one is referred to as Ben Elohim, and El, actually, in the Canaanite pantheon, had a very similar, I'm going to go over in just a bit. It was ascribed very similarly, as Mark Smith points out. But let's talk about Psalm 29. So the main question regarding Psalm 29 is to what degree it is dependent on or influenced by Canaanite poetry and mythology. Some commentators even state that Psalm 29 is an adaptation of an older Canaanite hymn in which Baal is praised as the weather god. It has also been said that the terminology used in verse 1, heavenly beings or literally sons of gods, is reminiscent of the way in which the Canaanite god El was worshipped, and that characteristics of El are applied to the Lord. That's true. The similarities between Psalm 29 and Ugaritic texts cannot be denied. It is impossible to say what the exact relationship between Psalm 29 and the Ugaritic legacy is.
Does he reference a specific section of Ugaritic text?
No, he doesn't. But Mark Smith does.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What can be said, however, is that in its present form, the psalm places all the focus on the Lord by using his name Yahweh no fewer than 18 times, and by describing his majesty and overwhelming power in a picturesque way. It may even be that the poet purposely used mythological terminology in such a polemical way to convince his readers or hearers that the Lord is superior to and stronger than the gods, especially Baal.
Yeah, well, there was that whole bit with Elijah.
Exactly. Yeah, so, but of course, the heavenly council metaphor that we get as sons of gods is... that's very telling.
Yeah, it's very different than "O ye mighty." I wonder
Exactly, so different.
I wonder if the Holy Scriptures, according to some Jews.
Well, you can pull that up. I'm just gonna pull up this neat stuff that that Mark S. Smith has. So he says quite a lot about this. Let's see, where should I even start reading here? This is in a section called Representation of Divinity.
Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Ascribe unto the Lord, O ye sons of might.
Sons of might. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so this is a section. All right. The possibility, and he's going over like a lot of names here about the warrior goddess Astarte. So the possibility that this Ugaritic usage of Sem marks a form of cultic presence may be supported by later Israelite attestations to Sem. In connection with the theophany, it has often been noted that the divine name Sem in biblical sources serves as a sign of divine presence. The divine name is also an element in the divine procession of Exodus 23. According to this text, Yahweh will send his messenger, Malak, with the Israelites, and, quote, my name is within him. The proclamation of Yahweh's name in the divine appearance to Moses in Exodus 33 may be a reflex of this old notion. The divine name acts also as a warrior, and he's quoting Isaiah. Similarly, Psalm 29, 1-2, alludes to the name as a divine quality with martial qualities, including radiance, kabod, and strength, Oz, or Uz, I don't know, expressed further as, quote, the glory of his name. Most interpreters assume that the Ben Elim of Psalm 29:1 are invoked to acknowledge these various divine characteristics, citing Deuteronomy 32 and Psalm 68. Another scholar, Cluse, comments on the opening of Psalm 29. The context of these passages indicates that, quote, to give greatness or, quote, strength means to praise. Indubitably, by exclaiming that the God is great or strong. In other words, the Ben Elim are called to acknowledge the kabod or uz of Yahweh and the kebed samo. There's still quite a bit more too. The theophany that follows the invocation suggests that the qualities involved are not general abstractions but belong to the divine appearance in the storm. So kabod, radiance, or effulgence. What is that? What is that word? I've never even seen that before.
Effulgence.
Effulgence. Okay. Is no abstraction but comparable to Akkadian melamu, the theophanous power accompanying the procession of the deity. Similarly, kabod samo in Psalm 29:2 may be no abstraction but the theophanous radiance manifested by the appearance of the name. In short, the name is the focus of Yahweh's martial manifestation. And then that's really the end for all the Ben Elohim stuff. But he has a nice list, a fantastic list early on.
Well, while you're getting into that, I'm going to read what Alter has to say about this first verse, where he translates it as, O sons of God.
Okay, good.
And he says, this is the first clue of many that have led a whole line of scholars, H.L. Ginsberg, Moshe Held, Mitchell Dahoud, Theodore Gaster, to see this psalm as a translation or close adaptation of a Canaanite psalm. It has been variously claimed that in the original text it was Baal as thunder god, not Yahweh, who imposed by his fearsome voice over the whole world. None of these arguments
That would make sense.
are entirely convincing. Although there are parallels to certain wordings here in Ugaritic poetry, the one cache of Syro-Palestinian poetry several centuries prior to the Bible that has physically survived, that scarcely proves that this poem is a translation. The same is true of the proposed linguistic and prosodic evidence, too technical to take up here, that has been put forth to support the same claim. Canaanite poetry was the literary tradition that constituted the most immediate background for biblical poetry. It would be surprising if the biblical poets did not make use of images, phrasing, and even mythological elements from the antecedent tradition, with which they and their audience were acquainted. The relation of this psalm, and a good many others, to the Syro-Palestinian tradition is roughly like that of Paradise Lost to the Aeneid and the Iliad. Virgil and Homer gave Milton a model and a repertory of devices and topoi, with which he could frame a cosmic epic from his own monotheistic perspective. But he was not merely transposing the pagan epic poets into English. As to the address to the sons of God at the beginning of the psalm, it should be noted that these celestial creatures appear not infrequently elsewhere in the Bible. Here they are B'nai Elim. More commonly, they appear as B'nai Elohim. They are best thought of as the flickering literary afterlife of a polytheistic mythology. God's royal entourage on high, his familia, as Rashi called them,
Yes.
invoking a Latin term that had entered Hebrew during the time of the Roman Empire. Literal belief in them may have survived in popular religion, but is unlikely to have been shared by the scribal circles that produced psalms.
So a little bit about this divine assembly. Here, if Chris, you want to change it to mine. There's a whole list of different divine assemblies and different ways that they have been named. So, for example, for El, there's the assembly of the sons of El. There's the circle of El, and the assembly of Baal. The circle of the sons of El, the assembly of the stars. For Baal, there's the assembly of Baal. For Ditanu, there is the assembly of the collectivity of Ditanu. Let's see, there's some more titles. Perhaps the most interesting text involving El and his assembly is, he cites at 165. This text seems to provide a restricted listing of those associated with El's council and family, as opposed to the more general divine council. El, the sons of El, the circle of the sons of El, the assembly of the sons of El, Tekmen and Shenem, El and Atherat, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah, so there's quite a lot that goes into this divine assembly.
A lot of assemblies, too.
Yeah.
Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. I'm assuming these are Yahweh instances of Lord.
Yes.
Okay. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thundereth. The Lord is upon many waters.
Yeah. So obviously, they are talking about all this big weather stuff, right? They're talking about thunders and waters, very primordial, very powerful, and especially the reference to thunder, which is why some scholars, think this was originally Baal.
Right. I'm not sure if anything that you have in there comments on this, but it says Lord, then God, then Lord. Is God also Yahweh?
I think so. Seems like you said they had how many references to Yahweh?
18 total.
18, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have anything on that.
All right. The voice of the Lord is powerful.
Yeah, but when it comes to the Lord's voice is over the waters, so though the image is a naturalistic one of thunder, often imagined by the Hebrew poets as God's voice rumbling over the sea, the line registers a recollection of old Canaanite myths in which creation is affected through the conquest of a primordial sea monster by the god who rules the land. In the incremental repetition here, the phrase "the mighty waters" has an especially mythological resonance in the Hebrew. Maybe I guess I'll take his word for it.
Right. And of
It's the
course,
Spirit of God.
chapter 1-2 of Genesis
Spirit of God
states, yes, the Spirit of God,
hovering over the waters.
yes, moving on the face of the waters.
Moving on the face of the waters.
Yeah, very
I must
different.
have offended King James.
Yep, you've offended King James.
Great.
Off with your head.
Yep, there it goes. Thanks for ending this.
All right. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty.
I'm sure it is.
The voice of the Lord breaketh the cedars. Yea, the Lord breaketh the cedars of Lebanon.
Because those are very important, large trees, very sturdy,
Yeah.
and he's stronger than them.
I like how they have shout magic still.
Yeah, they do.
He maketh them also to skip like a calf. Lebanon and Syrian like a young unicorn.
So it's not actually unicorn. Let's be fair here.
Aw, come on, King James has got it.
Unicorn.
It's a wild ox or something else.
No,
he
that's
has-
a mistranslation.
Oh, that's a mistranslation.
It's a unicorn.
Okay. Yeah, all the other translations say ox.
Okay, so it's an ox.
Yeah.
But more importantly, someone
Wrote unicorn.
thought it was appropriate.
No, that was just their word for it, I guess.
Their word for ox.
I don't know, something like that is to be understood that way. Of course, they don't have the same, mythological idea of a unicorn as we do now.
Maybe not.
Right, so when they were writing it then, it probably wouldn't have been absolutely ridiculous.
Well, why do you think unicorns are ridiculous?
We're not doing this now.
It's in the Bible.
Shut up.
The voice of the Lord divideth the flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shaketh the wilderness. The Lord shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh.
Yeah, and Kadesh is no, of course, I think there were two Kadeshes, right? There was one that was more northern and one that was more southern. One was just outside of Egypt, right? Or in Egypt?
I'm not the geography expert.
Okay. So make the wilderness shake. The Lord makes the Kadesh wilderness shake. These two versets are a textbook illustration of incremental repetition, right? With the added element. Okay, so he has nothing actually on Kadesh there, but yeah, I think I remember there being two Kadeshes, one more northern, one more southern, like in that area.
Jonah says that he remembers looking at an article which pointed out that several lines of Psalm 29 appear to contain alliteration to the consonants B and L, which additionally suggests the Psalms from a hymn to Baal.
Right, that would also make sense, but I'm not. Obviously, I don't know the Hebrew, so
Right.
I couldn't tell you. But that's
And we also don't have a Hebrew version in front of us. I could at least
Yeah, you
tell
could
you
do
if there
that,
was
yeah.
a B sound or an L sound.
right. Yeah,
But let's finish up this psalm.
yeah.
The voice of the Lord maketh the hinds to calve, and discovereth the forests, and in his temple doth everyone speak of his glory. Because it's his temple.
It's his temple. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you go to do that.
Like anyone's temple. Everyone
Probably
speaks to
speaking about their glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lord sitteth upon the flood. Yea, the Lord sitteth king forever.
Now, of course, so the mention of the primordial flood is a measure not only of the eternity of God's reign, but also of his supreme dominion over the forces of nature. It is, of course, in a storm that the poet has imagined God's power in this psalm.
Yeah. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. So
That's
maybe the translation. No, I can't think of a good reason to translate it as "O ye mighty."
Yeah, no, it's just
Because I thought that it might be a reference to the mighty people, like the mighty men.
yeah.
And then that would make it a kind of bookend with the last verse, but no, it doesn't follow.
Yeah, no.
But Lawrence, do you hear something?
You know, I do hear something. It's so strange.
Oh, what is going on?
Whoa.
Oh.
Behold, I am your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I want to let all you heathens and sinners know that I support this wonderful episode of Atheist Sunday School. Lawrence and Reuben try their very best to bring you the true glory of the Bible, and they need your help. They have provided links to their Patreon page and other social media just for you. Once again, my name is Jesus Christ, and this is Milwaukee Atheists. The Lord is with them. God bless.
Thanks.
Wow.
That was amazing.
That was incredible.
That was nice. I like that. Thanks, Jesus.
I can't believe it.
I feel moved.
Jesus came here
Jesus Christ.
to speak to our audience.
Yeah, that's not new at all.
Yeah, no. Listen, we should get him to do more things.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, he needs money.
Yes, he does, and so do we. Anyways. All right. So that was the end of Psalm 29. Let's hop into Psalm 30.
Ooh, this one has a purpose.
It does,
What?
and there's also I have some stuff here for you.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, a Psalm of David, a song at the dedication of the temple. So yes, this one's just for the temple dedication. I will extol you, O Lord, for you have drawn me up and have let my foes and have not let my foes rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried to you for help, and you have healed me. O Lord, you have brought up my soul from Sheol. You restored me to life from among those who go down to the pit.
So
He probably wasn't actually dead before this. I'm guessing this is just, hyperbolic.
Eerdmans says the crisis or disastrous situation is depicted by a means of the metaphor of sickness and death. You have healed me from verse 2. You have brought up my soul from Sheol, for Sheol. It is virtually impossible to tell whether these are expressions that refer to a specific situation and a concrete illness, or whether they are used metaphorically to express the utter despair of the psalmist.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Because if it was literally, I'd be like, no, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit actually about the title bit. The altar says song for the dedication of the house.
Sure.
It says in Eerdmans, when we consider the superscript of the psalm, the song at the dedication of the temple, it becomes clear that this title cannot refer to the original context of the psalm, but represents a later liturgical phase when it was used to commemorate the dedication of the second temple. In other words, the manner in which an individual originally experienced the intervening action of the Lord was extended and made relevant for a later community.
Fair enough.
There's also, Alter says about this, the consensus of traditional interpreters is that the reference to the temple, the literal sense of the Hebrew for temple is house of the sanctuary, or to a renovated altar, or some other structure within it. Some scholars, noting the somewhat odd syntax of the superscription with Psalm Mizmor separated from for David. Okay, yeah. Psalm of David instead of like that, it's separated.
Okay.
Suspect that this entire phrase is an editorial interpolation not originally belonging to the psalm.
Fantastic. Sing praises to the Lord, O you, his saints, and give thanks to his holy name, for his anger is but for a moment, and his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. I've heard that in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Alter says, at evening one beds down weeping, and in the morning glad song.
So I'm guessing he just like kind of from the verse set before, he replenishes you in a way.
Mm-hmm. Also about Sheol and the pit from before.
Sure.
First it says before that you drew me up. That is actually the term for drawing up water in Hebrew.
Okay.
It says drawing water from a well. Death then is imagined as a deep pit from which the speaker has been drawn up by God. In this faction, it's a Thanksgiving psalm, but that is very similar to the image of Sheol as several pits, one of which has a fountain within it.
Yes.
That appears in First Enoch. And for this bit about Sheol itself, it says, Lord, you brought me up from Sheol, gave me life from those going down to the pit. Alter says, for the pit, the Masoretic text uses a form that does not correspond to biblical grammar. Mirardi, which would mean from my going down. Several ancient versions, however, show miorde for from those gone down, which not only is grammatical, but highlights the idea that the speaker felt he had gone down to death, yet of all who go down there, he alone was raised up.
Yeah, there's quite a few possible translations. So there's, from, you restored me to life from among those who go down to the pit. There is, you restore me to life that I should not go down to the pit. And then there are the ones you said, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite a few of them. Anyways, verse 6.
Yes.
As for me, I say in my prosperity, I shall never be moved by your favor, O Lord. You made mountains stand strong. You hid your face. I was dismayed.
Alter says, Lord, in your pleasure, you made me stand mountain strong.
You made me stand mountain strong.
Mountain strong.
Yes, and he says, the translation is only an educated guess because the sequence of words in the Hebrew, not the meaning of the individual words, is perplexing. Literally, it would
weird.
be, you made stands my mountain of strength, or simply mountain of strength.
You made me strong like a mountain.
I think that's a great T-shirt idea. Mountain strong.
I think we should make a T-shirt that says, you made stand my mountain of strength.
No, I think mountain strong is a good T-shirt.
I just
Yeah.
like mountain strong.
Mountain strong.
Yeah, so I'm writing that down, actually.
All right.
Because
was there an ostrich thing too?
Yes.
All right.
The peculiar ostrich.
The peculiar ostrich.
Yep. That's another thing we could possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue here.
Yeah.
To you, O Lord, I cry. and to the Lord I plead for mercy. What profit is there in my death if I go down to the pit? Will the dust praise you? Will it tell your faithfulness? Will it tell of your faithfulness? Hear, O Lord, and be merciful to me. O Lord, be my helper. So it's like there's nothing good that comes from me dying. You should just keep me alive.
Yeah, so
What an argument, though.
Yeah, right.
so
It's like if you let me die, I can't do stuff for you. So
yeah, what profit in my blood in my going deathward?
yeah.
The poet sounds with powerful compactness the recurring theme shared by psalms of thanksgiving and supplication. Man cannot fulfill his vocation of celebrating God if he is engulfed by death.
Yeah.
It is living human beings whom God needs to sing his praises. It looks as though the giving of praise to God is imagined as a replacement of the pagan idea in which the sacrifices were thought of as food necessary to the gods.
Right. God, where the hell am I? I found it. It's all good. You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness, that my glory may sing your praise and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give thanks to you forever.
And feel free and dance if you want to.
So
You can leave your friends behind.
Yeah.
for the sackcloth thing, the general synodoches, I don't know. Synecdoches?
I have no idea.
Synecdoches.
The general synecdoches? I don't know. That's a horrible word.
Synecdoches sounds like Beltageese to me.
But the general images, I guess, for mourning and rejoicing, dirge and peace of the first verset are focused concretely through the metaphor of clothing in the parallel second verset. The garment of mourning is undone or removed, and joy becomes the new garment that God pulls tight or binds around the person he has rescued. As for the last verse, "Oh, let my heart hymn to you and be not still," it says, "Oh, let my heart hymn to you." This translation, following one ancient Greek version, reads, "Kavedi, my liver," heart being the viable English substitution, instead of kavod, glory. Like many other Thanksgiving psalms, this one exhibits an envelope structure beginning and ending with the declaration that the speaker will exalt God for his mercies granted.
All right, well, that is the end of Psalm 30.
Yes, it is.
We can probably hop right into Psalm 31. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. Share the stream around. We would love some people in here, and we would love for you guys to be commenting as well. If you were around, that'd be nice. We miss you.
Psalm 31, a little longer.
Yes.
To the chief musician, a psalm of David. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for a house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me. For thou art my strength. Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities, and hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly. For my life.
So this is kind of weird. So grant me grace, Lord, for I am distressed. My eye is worn out in vexation, my throat and my belly. So because of the physicality of the whole line with eye on one side and belly on the other, the anatomical sense of nefesh, and that's apparently, he actually comments on nefesh before here, about in verse 6, in your hand I commend my spirit. The spirit, ruah, is the life breath, like nefesh, and does not imply a soul distinct from the body. So
Yeah, I was about to say, because ruach means both, like, I mean, in common parlance now, it's soul or breath.
yeah, so the anatomical sense of nefesh as throat seems plausible. Maybe lungs, with the line moving down vertically from eyes to throat to belly. Okay, my mouth, not really my mouth, but
It's
my
based
breathing
on the
tubes.
Chinese Dantian system, where they have a Dantian placed here, a Dantian placed here, and a Dantian placed there.
Those are called chakras.
No, the chakras are a different energy system from
No,
India.
you wrong.
Anyways, for my life is spent with grief and my years with sighing.
Mine too.
My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. He has bonitis.
Bonitis.
I was a reproach among all mine enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to mine acquaintances.
He was a disgrace to his enemies.
Yep.
It's like, you're not even a worthy opponent.
They that did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel. I guess dead people are just all forgotten.
Yeah, apparently.
They don't-
Eventually.
Well, I guess if they didn't have a writing system.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Except they have a writing system.
So in the midst of many stock phrases, a concreteness of somber existential reflection manifests itself. It is a cruel fact of life that the dead and buried, however much lip service is paid them, are often forgotten, no longer part of the continuing considerations of our lives, like some lost possession for which we no longer even look.
Yes.
Makes sense.
For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies, and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. Let me be not ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men.
So yours just says sons of men.
Yes.
Mine says the crookedness of man. So let's look at this here. The Hebrew merukseish is problematic. The noun elsewhere means mountaintop, and so might more generally suggest an uneven surface or an obstacle. But all interpretations lean heavily on context, assuming an explicit interlinear parallelism with the quarrels of tongues, another reference to slander. So really just seems like a bunch of liars. So it's not really the sons of men, but a bunch of people who say harsh words. Shit like
Well,
that.
if you're a Calvinist, you would believe that is what the sons of men are.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Great. Great.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Let's continue.
I'm looking for where I am.
You're 21,
Yes. No.
or would be 20 for you?
Yes. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said...
In a strong city, I have in a town under siege. So this abrupt image is metaphorical rather than historical, linking with the military figures early in the poem. But it's interesting that yours just says strong city, and
Yeah.
mine actually includes
I mean,
a
I would
siege.
assume that they're referencing Jerusalem, right?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, in this translation, it's the siege is like a thing that's happening. Yours just says strong. That doesn't necessarily mean a siege is happening.
For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplication when I cried unto thee. Oh, love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. You know, that's like a big tonal shift. Like, they're like, kill them all. Let them be silent in the grave. Be joyful in the Lord.
Yeah, the Lord loves you. Unless you worship a different god.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
that'd be bad.
Ooh.
That would be evil. So this this last psalm that we're covering, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, share the video around. We want more people in here.
Patreon,
Yes, all that we'll get to
Amazon wish
that.
list.
We'll get to all that. Thank you, Ruben.
Wacky and fun shirts.
So this final psalm is kind of strange here because, and I'm going to quote here from Erdman's, this psalm cannot be classified in terms of the usual literary types. It is unique in the sense that it is a combination of several elements. For example, penitential, thanksgiving, hymnic, and wisdom. It could nevertheless be divided into two encompassing strophes, namely verses 1 through 5 and verses 6 through 10, as well as a conclusion, verse 11. And we're going to see the parallelism, how this ancient poetry is written. So you're going to be able to tell when they talk about... you're going to be able to tell when they start because of how similar the beginnings are when a new strophe is. So let's go on here.
Let's do it to it.
Yes.
A David Maskell. Now, this is clearly a category of song, but its precise nature remains unknown. From the word's use in Amos 5:13, it would appear to be a joyous song, though not all the occurrences in Psalms substantiate that connotation. In this particular psalm, there may also be a punning reference to a homonym that means discerning person or giver of instruction, and my translation in Amos opts for the homonym, rendering the word as the prudent. The word translated as let me teach you in verse 8 employs the same root. Ehrman Gunkel showed that this psalm contains distinct wisdom elements, especially from verse 8 onwards.
Yep.
As to genre, while it has sometimes been described as a Thanksgiving psalm, it's really more of a confession in the perfect tense.
Yeah, there's the like was in Erdman's. Just a lot of stuff is going on in this one.
Yeah. The speaker admits he's transgressed, affirms that he's confessed his transgression, and that as a result, God has granted him forgiveness.
So a Maskell of David. Blessed is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man against whom the Lord counts no iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. For when I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. Selah.
All right, so furthermore about the Maskell, in Eerdman's it says that Maskell is uncertain. Translations that have been suggested are, among others, skillful psalm and didactic psalm. There's some things about some word relations.
Yeah.
that
The
you
word relations,
outlined.
especially, there's a transgression, sin, iniquity. Those are the things that you'll see as like the beginning of a new section, I guess.
Yeah, which we're going to get into next, but it's a good place to pause there because that is like the end of that section of the poem, basically, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, continue.
Yeah, let's continue. Okay. I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not cover my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. Selah.
Selah.
Yeah, we talked about that a decent amount. It's in quite a lot of Psalms.
Do you think, that either it was the same transcriber who thought that, or whatever, or do you think it was an authorship?
For Selah? Or?
Yeah.
No, I think that was it's probably just like a way of, like we talked about before, a way of cadence or keeping beat, I guess.
Yeah, I get that, but it's not in every psalm. So
No, I know.
No.
So those other ones,
my
they
question
didn't need it.
is that, do you think somebody who decided to add these psalms into the book said, yeah, let's keep those with that, or do you think it was originally written that way?
No, I think there's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of, every psalm, some of them might share authors, but, these things come from a whole bunch of traditions.
Sure. And I don't know if it's a good indicator of which tradition or author it's from either.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which verse are you getting into right now?
Verse 6.
Okay. There is a bit here. Alter has verse 6 in brackets.
In brackets. Interesting.
Yes. And he says, it would be misleading to set this verse as poetry because it does not scan and has no true parallelism. One suspects a sentence from another text was introduced through scribal inadvertence. The brackets indicate that this verse is not part of the poem.
Okay, so not original. Therefore, let everyone who is godly offer prayer to you at a time when you may be found. Surely in the rush of great waters they shall not reach him. You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from my trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance. Selah. And of course, the hiding place imagery. We actually got that in our first psalm today, right? In our first or second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alter says about the shouts of deliverance, he says glad songs of deliverance, and says the Hebrew roneh palet looks odd. The first of the two nouns would seem to be a plural, incurring nowhere else of ron, glad song.
Sure. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Be not like a horse or a mule without understanding, which must be curbed with a bit and bridle, or it will not stay near you.
So
damn
the
mules and horses.
The bit and the reins. So yeah, what horses wear. But here, verse 8 is interesting. And both of these authors pointed out, well, they point out things. Eerdmans says 32:8 is ambiguous in the sense that it can be understood either as an oracle, a response to the Lord, or as a sapiential instruction. In the light of the immediately preceding verse and the rest of the psalm in which the second person refers to the Lord, it is likely that the second person in verse 8 also refers to the Lord. In the typical style, the poet of the instruction is also presented in the means of a triad. I will instruct you and teach you. I will counsel you. Alter says, after the second Salah, an entirely new movement in the poem, or another poem, begins in verse 6, in which the speaker, like the figure of the mentor in Proverbs, enjoins a person who listens to the heat of his counsel. And further, go on.
It's okay.
We're almost done here.
Yeah. Many are the sorrows of the wicked, but steadfast love surrounds the one who trusts in the Lord. Be glad in the Lord, and rejoice, O righteous, and shout for joy, all you upright in heart.
Yeah. So the only additional piece of commentary in the altar on this psalm is that bit about the bit in the bridle. And he essentially said that it's conjectural and it's kind of cryptic.
Yeah, and it's kind of insulting to donkeys and mules.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him talk in the Bible.
Dude, did you just close that book without a bookmark?
Did
I think so.
Yeah, it's in Psalms.
It's somewhere in there.
We're reading Psalms.
I know we're
It's
reading
not
Psalms.
difficult to
Fine,
find a
whatever,
psalm.
whatever.
There was a bookmark on the table right there in front of you.
Yeah. Oh
I
my God.
mean, it takes all of 3 seconds.
All right.
Hurry up.
There you go, buddy. Okay. Well, that is the end of the reading today. What did you think of these? I like the stuff about Psalm 29.
Psalm 29 was all right.
I like polytheistic stuff in relation to the Bible.
Well, that's because you're a polytheist.
Is it? Is
Yep.
it because? Okay.
Definitely.
Totally.
You
Yep.
I
believe
That's
in
me.
multiple gods.
Yep. That's me over here running this atheist
Well,
channel.
you believe
That's
that
me.
there are
You got it.
multiple gods in the Bible.
That.
Shh. Here, I got you.
Anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We always forget that we have that.
Yo, it's good that I don't use it often because then you do.
Yeah. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Let's do a little bit of shilling here at the end.
Well, one more thing.
Do you need this bit of
One
Isaiah
behold.
blocked off here?
Guys, one.
Keep whatever stuff I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
A behold.
A single behold.
That's correct.
Single
Okay,
behold. It
that's
wasn't
fine.
even capitalized.
It wasn't. That's sad. But anyways, Patreon, lots of good rewards. You can go to our Teespring, 20% off all merchandise if you use the promo code BEHOLD.
Behold, you'll get 20% off until the end of the month.
Yep.
It's a good present for your friends and family and
Yes, it
neighbors.
What
You
else?
can even buy our shirts and give them to homeless people.
You could do that.
That'd be weird.
we
but
gotta.
do what you want with them, I guess.
Yeah, you bought them. We got Twitter. We got Facebook. What else we got? We got those.
We got
things.
BitChute.
BitChute. That's true.
Yep.
BitChute.
We've been uploading Friday
Friday
Apocryphal
Podcast.
podcast
Yep.
on the BitChute.
Yep.
You can check that out. Is it in the description yet?
I know, but I should put that in there. I can't actually.
Yeah.
What we
At
got?
all?
We got Patreon, and we said Patreon, right? And we said Twitter,
Wacky and
Facebook,
Fun T-shirts.
Wacky and Fun T-shirts.
Yeah.
I think that's all the stuff, right?
I mean, that's basically. Oh yeah, the Lawrence diss track
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh, we forget
Competition.
about this.
is still open. Please send in your Lawrence diss tracks to MilwaukeeAtheists@gmail.com.
Yeah, please do. I would very much appreciate that, actually.
You got it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
And especially if you like point out flaws in his scholarship.
Oh,
Yeah. that sounds like a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a blast.
Do like an epic rap battle, except where you make fun of Lawrence.
Yes, and make sure you catch us on Friday for Friday Apocryphal Podcast.
Oh yeah, I need
Yeah.
to make that still. It's on
Yes,
the list.
yes, you do. But until next time, we will see you next Sunday.